Okay, it's 11:26 now. I just finished making video 33. This is video 34. And so I realized I can make up to a 15-minute video without having to plug it in to the computer to do it. So glad I realized that. It's nice that we have some of these abilities with technology, but again, what we should know about technology is that we are experiencing just the very tippy tip of the iceberg in terms of the total amount of technology that's available to us. We're given the scraps. For the most part, we're given the crap that can be used against us. Again, most of it has to do with gathering information about us so they know how to manipulate and control us, which I talked a little bit about in the last video. Now, the device I'm using and your little cell phone, your smartphone, your dummy phone, and all your gadgets that you use to access the internet and contact other people with, their highest purpose as defined by the soul, defined by heaven, would be to get us in communication and get us organized. That's the highest function that these things can perform in terms of actually looking at positive things that could result from using them. With almost all technology, it gets in the hands of the most crazy, stupid, asleep people first, and it's misused, and so more awake people don't want to have anything to do with it because they see it being misused. But this technology, obviously the internet, you should be well aware of how vitally important this is. I was talking to my massage therapist a little bit today about the role that Jesus was playing 2,000 years ago and how we basically had to go everywhere on foot because he didn't have a smartphone. So what he was doing was he was training his disciples. Now, he had a lot more than just 12 people. You know, that there's a lot of numerology and everything because numerology is important to the light and the dark. I'll get to the number 10 and how 9 and 11 and stuff like that too, how that's important. But he was training as many people as he could to preach the gospel, which, now preaching the gospel, again, gospel means good news. And the good news is what? The good news is that we can transform this motherfucker really fast if we get together with the common vision and understanding the mechanics of salvation and how we can do it. What I'm declaring to you right now is that Jesus had a plan, just as I have a plan right now, to transform the world. Now, the condition of the world 2,000 years ago, I'm going to tell you something right now that it's too foreign to you to understand, to really grok it, to really understand what the mechanics would have been like at the time. We got to understand this world is constantly undergoing profound changes such that reality sometimes in many years past, one state would have been like another universe from another state. Of course, the states didn't exist at the time. One landmass could have been like an entirely different world than another landmass in terms of the reality people experienced. But the earth as a whole has been captured in a vibration, more or less, such that the whole thing, it can be pretty different from here to there, but the whole thing has an underlying vibration which we are all subject to. Now, what I'm declaring to you is that Jesus did not just preach morality to people like your preacher might preach to you every week, acting like it's all about morality, acting like it's about marching towards death, eventually dying so you can get to heaven. It's been proven. It's been proven that when you die, you do go somewhere, you spend a little time there, and you get your ass back here. And probably the most likely scenario is that the more dumb shit you do, the quicker you got to get out of there and come back here. So the more lifetimes, the more incarnations you have to go through, particularly if you were really on board with salvation about 2,000 years ago, you probably just incarnated right now. If you did a bunch of crap to get in the way of salvation, then you've probably been having very, very short periods in earthly years between life cycles. Speculation. We don't know. But what I want to tell you is that Jesus had a plan that he was giving to people. He was not just preaching morality. The good news was really, really good news. The good news was that we can transform this world and bring it back to heaven. And we can do this ourselves, seemingly ourselves, if we play our role that we need to play. I did a very long blog post the other day about how we have to pretty much act like little children, like toddlers. I used the word toddlers in that post. I was going to say babies at first, but babies can't move around. They can hardly do anything. But basically what I'm saying is that you have to become a toddler again in the idea that you have to relearn communication and proper ways of relating with one another. Now, I feel like the biggest hypocrite myself because I'm so isolated that I don't have a lot of communication with other people, but clearly I'm a smart guy. I'm not dumb. I'm not totally stupid. Despite what's all these electrocution feelings and extreme headaches that I experience, I still got my sense left and I still can communicate pretty well. But I feel like an enormous hypocrite talking about, okay, it's all about relationships, but I'm pretty much isolated all the time. So that's a big doubt from me. That I have to, like, who the hell am I to be talking about this, an authority on this, when I'm isolated to the degree that I am? I'll tell you right now that I have no interest whatsoever in superficial relationships. There's some new neighbors that moved in. I don't have any desire to even say hi or get to know them. I'm done with superficial BS relationships. I don't want to be burdened with saying hi all the time. Because I'm a nice guy. I don't like to piss people off. It's easier not to know people sometimes. But I'm not interested in superficial idiot relationships. I'm interested in deep, connected, strong relationships. Now, I've already talked about unity before, and I don't care how many times I repeat myself about anything important. If it's important, we repeat it, we repeat it, repeat it, repeat it endlessly until we get it. Because unity is a bullshit term if not understood correctly. There's 70,000 people that get together to watch a football game at the football stadium. That's unity of a certain sort. Does it mean anything? No. All it does is sustain the vibration of hell. That's all it does. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything beyond that. It is about unity, but it has to be about the right kind of unity. Just like chocolate is not, we got to understand what is chocolate. Are you talking about 100% cacao? Or are you talking about some stuff that was made with slave labor and is 75% sugar and a few preservatives? I mean, what are you talking about when you're talking about chocolate? When we talk about terms, we've got to be clear about what we mean by the terms. I have definitions on my website because I want to be clear. I want to maintain as much consistency as possible. I realize I don't do that completely, but I do my best to stay consistent with my terminology. But unity is a term, if we're going to use it wisely, it has to mean unity of authenticity, authentic relationships. That's where unity has to be. It has to be in true, sincere, honest, expansive relationships. Now, where you got to start with this is honesty, brutal honesty. How am I feeling right now? What am I perceiving right now? Let's talk about what we're experiencing right now in this moment. How am I experiencing you? How are you experiencing me? Whoa, no, we're not supposed to talk about that. Yeah, we are supposed to talk about it. That's where we need to start. We didn't learn properly when we were little kids. We didn't have parents that were fully developed, obviously. I'm not fully developed either. But we can do this together by joining together. I'm not putting myself on a pedestal and saying that I've got this already. I'm right here with you. We're walking hand in hand, side by side on this path. And I'm right here with you. I need help more badly than anybody else. Believe me. I'm not talking about psychiatric help. I'm talking about support to be able to just survive here. It is enormously difficult for me to get through the days here. The fact that I completed this album, the fact that I'm working on this other song, which is turning out really great, I hope I can nail the vocals. To me, it's miraculous that I'm actually getting work done when I feel as much pressure as I do. And I hope you appreciate that. I hope you appreciate what I've gone through. And I certainly appreciate what you've gone through if you're on this journey with me. And I certainly understand the trepidation you have with getting involved in yet another stupid fucking thing. So I don't want you to view this as another fucking stupid thing that I'm advocating, but I understand completely if you initially have that feeling about it. But I hope you'll just try it, because I hope my rationality and my confidence in this is going to be enough to spur you to action to say, okay, I'm going to try this. Because I know sometimes when I think about, okay, 3 weeks, well, that's a long time. It's a long period of time to have to survive 3 weeks, which is about how long I'm asking you to participate in this. It's like, how in the hell am I going to survive 3 weeks? I need a pill right now. I need to go jump in some water. I can't think 3 weeks ahead. I just had to cancel I was going to go play music at a place for lunch today. I called and canceled between these videos. So I just can't do it. I'm so overburdened. I cannot be given any additional responsibilities to what I have. Making videos, blogging, making music, and fucking surviving is about all I'm capable of doing right now. Anything on top of that is just, whoa, that's amazing. How the fuck did you water those flowers? Actually, I mean, doing stuff like that is helpful to me. So it's important to me to take care of plants and stay active, like I said. It's a hell of a lot better. If I were to go lay down on the couch, that'd be like equivalent to getting just completely tortured right now. Couch is like my #1 enemy for the most part. Hammock offers me a little bit more reprieve, because then I'm swaying a little bit, I'm cocooned, I got the trees above, the breeze, I got sounds of nature, fresh air, blah, 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 some kind of stimulation, just like a baby needs certain kind of stimulation for their nervous system. Otherwise, they're going to die. They're going to die one of 2 different types of deaths, if you know what I mean. They're either going to die a physical death, or their soul is going to completely shut down if they're not given the proper kind of stimulation that they need. This goes back to proper communication and the inability for a baby to communicate what it needs, what it wants, what it desires, and how we never really develop this properly at a young age. And I hope you will be willing to make the admission that you haven't learned it properly as a young child either, because then you're fucked if you have and you're still in this condition. If you can't go back and relearn that the right way, then you're kind of going to be useless to salvation. So I want to return to what I was talking about before about Jesus must have had a plan, because every savior of the world is a pragmatist. We see the situation that we're in and we offer solutions to fix it. Let me give you an example. A good vocal coach, for example, if they notice you're doing something with your voice, is not going to say, "Hey, you sound like a duck right now, and it just sounds awful. You just got to stop doing it." They might think to themselves, "What if we pretend you're a puppy and we make some puppy sounds?" Now that's a whole different way of approach right there, in which you're getting someone to engage in activity. Okay, you can make puppy sounds. I know you can make a puppy sound. I'm giving you something that you can do. We're just going to have fun making puppy sounds. And then can we say, well, notice the sensation that's occurring as you're making puppy sounds. That's what you want to kind of key in and focus on. Okay? Stuff like that. There's a good way to teach. There's a good way to fix problems which offers people tools which address the problem. And the plan that I'm offering is addressing the human condition as the problem, because our minds are projectors and we're collectively projecting this reality. As individuals, we're fucked against this thing. We get together, we can build the confidence and synergy in the vision of transforming the world, which is what needs to be done, obviously. We can't do this by ourselves, obviously. We have to get together, and you've been controlled, manipulated, and put into states of fear which have made you extremely isolated. So I am just so hoping that you will overcome that and engage in one last thing, because I want to explain the mechanics of salvation a little bit to you. It has to occur fairly quickly. Jesus was a man on a mission back 2,000 years ago. He's getting as many people as he could to practice a plan, which must have had to do with communication and relationships, but he was trying to get this done quickly. Once he was dead, window closed. But we don't have perfect vision of even now, let alone 2,000 years ago. So we can only speculate. I can only offer stories about that. But more than anything, I can offer a vision. I can offer a vision of how great life can be and how quickly we can transform the world given true unity. True unity, not faux unity. True spirituality, not faux spirituality. You get the idea.